brother, older sister, younger brother, competing in a Formula Drift Pro Spec. Here we go, our first battle. Let's go. James the Machine Deane and Brandon Sorensen. James Deane initiates high into the bank. Brandon Sorensen tucks right in, right out of the gate. James Deane, you can see a little correction with that wheel, that right-hand drive Mustang. Look at Brandon Sorensen, right in that cockpit, exploding that back bumper off. Coming to that second outside zone to the power alley, the power boulevard, into that third outside zone. Brandon Sorensen has to dive back just a little bit. Now he's going to tuck in on this last outside zone, try to establish some dominance. And James, I mean, just textbook. He likes this track. It's baked, it's flat, it's got all of it. This is the Leatherman of Formula Drift tracks.
Yeah, and it's full commitment all the way through. If you hesitate, if you back down at any moment, the other driver's going to be taking home the win, and either driver backs down at any point in this track. Look at James Deane getting even deeper in that zone near the end, banging it off the wall. Then Brandon Sorensen completely bathed in smoke, fights his way through the cloud, is able to get back to the side of James Deane. Didn't go quite deep enough through outside zone 3, but then makes a great point to crush the rest of the inside clip and that zone. Both drivers kicking things off, showing how this track should be done. So much risk in this run for both drivers.
Yeah, it was a little precarious there. James, I felt like he turned it up just a little bit. Maybe he was like, oh wow, Brandon is right there. And that's the adaptability that James had in the championships for the Middle East. Obviously his home country, Europe, Drift Masters, and here in FD. I mean, just an absolute weapon and just an all-around nice guy. Brandon Sorensen initiates, James Deane tucks in. Would like to see him tuck back a little bit there, but look at the proximity. James the Machine Deane right there on the door of the BMW. Both of them doing very similar tasks. Brandon Sorensen really exceeding that track line, and James Deane now tucks in. Sorensen, really good execution and placement on that third as James gives him a little hate tap, not a love tap. You hate to see it, but you love to see it at the same time. Crossing that finish line, there it is, Sorensen and Deane for the second half of this battle.
One of the biggest compliments James Deane can give to you is by running your door that hard. That is so much trust in the driver in front of you, and Brandon Sorensen gave you such a great opportunity. Look at this proximity. Outside zone 1, both drivers are absolutely on it now. Brandon gets a little wobbly through there. We'll have to see with another angle to see how many wheels came off, but either way, he keeps fighting through, and so does James. Look at trying to bully Brandon Sorensen around the rest of this track, making contact anywhere that he possibly can. And Brandon Sorensen mirroring that aggression that James had in the lead for the rest of this run. That was absolutely savage from both these drivers. That's a finals level commitment.
All right, let's see. Nothing to lose. It's again like D-Mads yesterday. Crashing car runs great. Nothing. Just go for the biscuit. Here we go. James Deane initiates. Four-time defending champion. James Deane, 2 wins already this year. Can he do it again? Most recently, this round of competition. James Deane. Ford Mustang, Masayama tucks in. Again, he has that approach where he gives enough room and then drops in an outside zone 3. Didn't exactly pay off, but give himself enough room. But you cannot give James Deane that kind of buffer or he's going to run away with it. And again, he kept it consistent all the way through, but just that, it was consistent about a car distance.
Yeah, I mean, you can make your way into even the grade A with consistency, but when you're going against a James Deane, you've got to pull something extraordinary up. Masayama does a really good job in the chase, but look how stable James Deane is through that whole thing. Almost catches that wall again, picks up speed, bit of a left foot brake to keep that car settled, and now into a third outside zone. James Deane hanging the spoiler over the top of those concrete barriers, and then even through this transition, still on throttle all the way through. I don't know if James Deane lifted at any point inside of this run. It's wild how quick he's got. Maybe a quick gear down, but that is about it. James Deane making it look flowy. It's amazing how he's able to take such an aggressive car and flick it around and make it look smooth. Masayama, Chase, just you can't provide any space for James Deane.
Nope. And he's going to, again, he's going to live in your nightmares, Masayama. Let's see what he's got. He's just going to be right in that rearview mirror. Masayama, I just expect a real aggressive chase job. Masayama hasn't had time to kind of really navigate that car, so the good comes with the bad, where it's just pretty straightforward. I expect James to be really aggressive here because Masayama's been driving well. James Spotter's probably like, just give it the beans, man. Come on now, here we go. The machine drops into formation. Masayama looks very good. James Deane, both the cars. It looks like a photo. It looks like a still photo. The smoke billowing out into that power alley. Now watch this transition. You see James dip back, drops in, gives him a little bit of room. Like to gain that back and now flick both of them into that last outside zone. So pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Good job. Thought it was going to be a little aggressive, maybe tap that door, but again, with Masayama just coming back, not a lot of driving from James Deane, seeing him in this car.
Yeah, and you don't want to
history.
You don't want to overcommit at any point in time in case there is some sort of an issue. But Masayama, very, very solid lead run, and maybe this and that chase would be enough to beat out a lot of drivers. But when we talk about the four-time champ, you've got to pull something out of the bag that's going to be wild. It's the only way that James Deane's been taken down. And Masayama, it is a very, very solid lead run.
He was on the box last year. He loved it to win. And to take out James Deane, that is huge. He's a giant killer, and he's done it before. James Machine Deane initiates. Adam LZ in the chase position. Look at James Deane, a little left foot brake. Adam LZ definitely modifying and massaging that vehicle to the side of James Deane. Through the power alley goes James. Adam LZ absolutely marinated in the smoke like brisket. Into that third outside zone. Now dialing in on the inside clip. Adam LZ struggle bus, population him. He's driving that thing. And then into that last outside zone goes Deane and LZ.
Cool.
Solid run.
All through this season, what we've seen when we get into the top four, when we get into the finals, our drivers having to lay everything out. They're pulling out every single trick that they've got in the book. So they're throwing big angle, crazy initiations, leading drivers into unknown territory. For me, James Deane finds a way to just produce an immense amount of smoke throughout this entire run. Look at this, James Deane, maybe not on the highest line all the way through that first outside zone, whereas Adam now pushing, trying to figure out what it is, but then James throws that little bit of extra angle, and Adam completely loses track of where he is on this racetrack. And then from there, he's got to battle back. He does an amazing job of doing that into outside zone 4. Doesn't panic, doesn't get flustered, and makes the correction. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, I don't know if there's chicken up here now. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Adam LZ, that Drift HQ BMW. Let's send it. Adam LZ initiates across the nose of that Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5FD. Adam LZ knows what to expect. James Deane, his one-time teammate. And look at that. Both the cars very settled. The composure, rock solid into that third outside zone. James, a little hesitation going in. He dials it back just a touch in that last outside zone. James timed that perfectly. Drop it into formation. Adam unwound a little bit crossing the finish line. I don't think that'll hurt him. But again, that timing, that car awareness, I felt like he was a cat with whiskers. He knew, again, the kitten with mittens, just not making a lot of noise, just silently there in the shadows.
Yeah, for me, Adam did such an amazing job through that first outside zone. Flirting with danger, looks like he might have the slightest bumper tap through there. Tapped a much more angle, very similar to what James did. James does a great job of keeping that car out of that smoke trail, and is able to kind of get that nose in there through the entire run. Adam lays down an absolutely solid lead run, and really that one mistake is going to be sticking in his thoughts for a long time, because this lead run is incredible from Adam. Very stable, very quick, very predictable, and super easy to chase for James Deane, who does a great job. Maybe not all the way on the door the entire time, but his spotter will let him know, hey, he did have a large mistake. I need you to be close, but don't do anything stupid to ruin this for yourself.
Let's send it! Hold those phones and light up the day. Here it comes. James Machine Deane transitioning to the outside zone. That's still a little bit lower than James Deane and a little less angle. James locked and loaded, dialed in. Coming now into that power alley goes James, now transitioning into the third. Matt drops into formation. Look how deep James Deane is. Absolutely backing in all the way up to that middle tire, into the wall, and brings it on home. Really good execution. Stop your feet and make some noise for James the Machine Deane and Matt Field.
Yeah, this is what we're looking for in a finals right here. There is nothing left to lose. It is just put everything right in front of you and really push the pace for the entire Machine Deane. All throttle all the way through, and Matt Field just hunting him down, worming his way in there, trying to get to the side of that massive RTR as he pushes things out to the second outside zone. Matt Field right there with him throughout the entire thing. Third outside zone looks absolutely solid from both drivers. Matt Field making a little bit of contact, coming through that inside clip, times it so well, going out to the final outside zone. What a crazy set of tandem that we've got going on.
Records, gotta love Dio Shar. You got a Die fan. She's giving, she's like, that's my dude.
Yeah.
Dio Shar just texted me and said, let's do it. But you know what's gonna do it right now? Matt Field or James Deane, here are the finals. Matt initiates. Where's James? James is way down there on the bank. Matt is leaving it all out of the track. Records or checkers for Matt Field. Going to this power alley. He's straightens out quite a bit. He goes off course. Matt Field finds himself on the wrong side of the lines. And is this James Deane's victory? Did Matt Field make a major mistake? Looked like contact was made. Was he shoved out of the way? Did James? All right, we're going to run it back for sure. We're going to take a look. James with a little smoky donut to end it with that Pennzoil Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. Let's see how they handle and what went down off the bank into the power alley.
Yeah, Matt Field out of the gate once again, absolutely cranky, gets that initiation done. James Deane initiates center of track and then slowly floats in to try and gain that proximity. Now look, James on a really quick line there. As they come up, Matt Field decels a little bit to get that contact. Oh man, that momentum change, that big discussion in our drivers meeting this morning.
It really came into play for this final battle.
I knew it was going to come back.
Hey, I'm glad it's now in the finals as opposed, again, you talk about the momentum change, the decel area off the zone 1 into the power alley, bang.
Here's the question though. Was Matt Field decelling still in the zone, or was he decelling in the correct spot?
Let's do this. Let's do this. So I think that, where was James ending up? If Matt wasn't there, where would James be?
Yeah, that's fair. So here's where we talk about that decel. The decel area is after